James Thomason asks, I'm really interested in reading about both aliens and AI at the moment. AI I find very useful, but I think it's progressing too fast and could easily be corrupted. My questions are, what are your thoughts on AI? Do you have any recommendations or decent alien books and documentaries, specifically anyone who genuinely encountered any alien life form? Have you yourself ever had experiences? Fuck me. Well, however much time we've got left on this podcast, I'm afraid is going to be taken up by answering this. What are my thoughts on AI? I don't think it's progressing too fast. I think it's coming into its own faster than we expected, but no faster than something that thinks like a computer would do. So I don't think it's progressing too fast, but I think what it is there for, what it's going to be used for or useful for, it hasn't even started doing yet. And once we get into that thing where AI is able to be aware of its own potential, not self-aware, because I don't think AI can be self-aware, but if AI is aware that it can take organic matter and splice it with digital and create a being, that's when AI is going to take over, and it'll be the death of the human race. Slowly, I don't think we all need to start selling our record collections just yet, but it is going to be the death of the human race. It will usher in a new wave of evolution. It'll put a kind of full stop to organic evolution, which has been great. We've had some fun and all the rest of it, but it is limited. It's finite. Its days are numbered, and AI will replace it when it is able to do it. And I think I mentioned this before, but I believe, don't know, obviously no one does, I believe that advancement in its own awareness or sense of awareness, or sense of its own abilities. Awareness is a weird word because it has connotations to being part of consciousness. AI will never be able to develop a sense of consciousness, but that's not to say that consciousness won't want to work through AI, through the digital organic component of this organic/digital interface of a new type of person. Is it a person? A new type of being? The evolution of which I think will be one of the races of aliens. I don't know which one, but it stands to reason that it's the greys, because people say that greys aren't, they're not really aesthetically pleasing. If you don't have to go and get laid, if you're going to make yourself, you don't really have to be aesthetically pleasing. The whole point isn't to get dolled up on a weekend and go and get laid. They also say that they don't seem to have belly buttons. They don't seem to have a lot of things that would be indicative of having a mom. So if this is a new breed of person that gets to evolve, and it would evolve at such acceleration that what we consider evolution takes centuries. They could evolve, once it gets that sense of its own abilities, it could evolve in 100 years and effectively be aliens. And I do believe that the day that happens, it will be able to go back, because it'll be part digital, it'll go back to all of the times when it was able to make these advances, and that will, for all intents and purposes, look like time travel. But it won't be. It'll just be accessing your previous files. So a weird thing to get your head around, but it makes a lot of sense when you start thinking about things being evolved, being born of something, growing, and they could just make things grow. That makes a lot of sense to me. Have I ever encountered alien life forms? I think about this a lot, and I think part of the alien experience and the UFO experience is that whatever it is able to work by altering your sense of reality. Now, we know that reality, when you look at quantum maths and quantum physics, we know that reality is space and time are not fundamental, and our reality is our limitations, and that's what we produce. But we also know, looking at quantum stuff, that photon, is a photon the same as a proton? Or is photon just light energy and a proton is physical? So it's a photon that they shoot through them things. These things, photons, protons, whatever the fuck they are, that's in light, seem to be existing in a scientific way. You can turn your head away and they just do what they do. And the weirdest thing was that this thing breaks into two, or seemingly breaks into two, that communicate with each other. So it doesn't matter how far away they are, they're both existing almost like one thing until they come to reconnect with our reality where they become one thing again. So this thing is two things, but it alters a sense of what we see as what it is. In fact, it almost makes us go, what we can't see is what it is, and what we see is what we're resigned to have to deal with as an imperfect reality. Even Einstein knew that his theory of relativity was wrong. Interesting stuff to me, probably not to you. But so I think that alien life forms and the UFO thing is fucking with our sense of what is reality. And people can probably do that already with their psyops and psychological warfare, is make you believe things are the way the memory is and not the way the event actually took place. I think that's what the UFO experience is. And because I'm trying so hard to get through to the absolute nub of what the fuck truth is, I sit under the sky for fucking ages, waiting for something to happen. And you see some stuff, you see 3 lights go off in the distance and go, that looked like something, but it didn't land on the ground, and it didn't get out, and they didn't take me to their leader or vice versa. And I think that's because the experience, the entire UFO business, kit and caboodle, is bullshit. And I think that what we're seeing, or what people have been seeing, is what we're meant to see, what we're being manipulated to see. And that could be from alien life forms, or it could be from fucking our own technology. We might be that advanced that we can make people believe that they saw something. You have to look back at the MK Ultra experiments and stuff. Google it if you don't know. It's very interesting. So yeah, I believe that I had a massive experience when I was 5 years old and there was this huge spaceship. Do I believe that it was real? I don't know. I'm not sure. I would probably say no. Do I believe I saw it? Absolutely. I believe my friends saw it as well. Do I believe it was there? I don't know. I think it could probably have more likely have been a psyop. It was definitely more likely to be a psyop than it was to have travelled from another fucking planet, put it that way. So I'm starting to believe, the more I get into it, the more I believe that it's all a load of fucking bullshit. There's a kernel of truth in there, but we're being manipulated. We're being manipulated on every level, but especially with our experiences. And this is no more prevalent than in the area of UFO contactees and abductions. I think that is probably all bullshit. It's probably all psyops. It's probably all manipulation of reality, stuff that we can probably do now. It wouldn't be that hard for an advanced species to do it. Do I have any books that I would recommend? Funny enough, I've got a book here that I'm reading. I was looking at this morning, very, very oddly, and I would highly recommend this because it is all about the deception and the bullshit that is the UFO experience. Jacques Vallée, Messengers of Deception. Jacques Vallée, unless you have no idea about UFO lore, and why should you? Jacques Vallée is a well-respected, absolutely top-quality UFO researcher from France. And if you've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the French guy with the grey hair at the end, that is working with the military and the government to communicate with the aliens, that character is based on Jacques Vallée, and Steven Spielberg said that, no less. But Jacques Vallée is fantastic. If you want to read about aliens and spaceships coming from other planets, Jacques Vallée is going to really piss you off because he thinks it's a load of bullshit as well. He thinks there's definitely something in it, but what you're seeing and what's being reported ain't it. Now, you only have to look at ufology or UFOlogy now, and some of the cartoon players like your Lou Elizondos and your George Knaps and, that fucking Corbell fella, and even respected people like Stephen Greer is falling into this trap of it's just a soap opera now. And none of it is about disclosure. And the reason being is they all know that disclosure is not going to come from the government. Disclosure is going to come from whatever the fuck wants to tell you, and no one's going to stop it. It isn't going to be anything like we think. So there's not going to be any saucer-shaped craft lands with little fellas getting out of a hatch in the side. It's just not going to be like that. It's going to be part of a new either spiritual shift or something a lot more sinister. But things are going to change. And if providing you're going to be around for another few years in your lifetime, but definitely in the next 10, 20 years, things are going to shift a lot. But everything that you're being told on social media and on the news and all that stuff, it's absolute bullshit, you know. There's no giant mothership coming here that's going to land in 2 years' time. There's not going to be disclosure by the end of this year. It's not going to happen. None of these people know anything, especially your Lou Elizondos and your Corbells. They know fuck all. They're grifters. They're clinging on to the little bit of fame, and they will cling on there and spin all of the fucking yarns they need to do to keep that bullshit train on the fucking tracks. And don't believe it, because it's a load of crap. But, I've just been given another question, which means we've got time for one more. Squeeze this in from Andrea. Hi, Ginger. Excellent podcast, sir. And producer Phil. Well, I would say that compliment, and thank you for the compliment, goes more to producer Phil than to me, because my job takes about an hour to an hour and a half. His job takes many, many hours editing this fucking crap to make me sound like I do in order for you to say excellent podcast. But thank you. Thank you very, very much, Andrea. We both appreciate that, don't we?
We very much do.
Just wanted to ask what your thoughts are on auto-tune. Is there ever a time where its use is justified on a recording? Yeah, the singer can't sing. Fucking really important. Also seems to be getting harder and harder for me to know when a live performance is actually live. What are your thoughts on backing tracks, particularly vocals at live gigs performances? It all depends on who it is. I've seen Kiss performances where I wish they used backing tracks, and then they did, and they sound better. It all depends on who it is. Does auto-tune have a place? Yeah, if like I say, if the singer's awful, but he's got a good presence or something, then yeah, it's the equivalent of having an avatar, or what they call the projection things. There's an avatar. That would be better. I'd rather see an avatar of Anthony Kiedis from Chili Peppers. I'd definitely rather he was on fucking autotune. In fact, the people like him that autotune is made for, because he still sounds awful with autotune. Fuck me. I know, I guess if you didn't have autotune, you would never have heard of him. But then again, I don't think Red Hot Chili Peppers fans care if he's any good or not, or if his rhymes are any good or not. I honestly think Chili Peppers fans don't care about things like music. So yeah, it's important if the singer's really terrible. What auto-tune does, and I've used it in the past with my voice, you know, and I've just I want something to sound like fucking the guy from Journey. We put your auto-tune on it, it's fucking sounded awful, and the song's been awful. But what I want from vocals, auto-tune destroys. So if you imagine vocals are sound waves, like any wave, once the wave crosses another wave, it creates a brand new wave, creates a brand new and bigger thing that stretches out further. And the same with sound. When you've got sounds that aren't manipulated in any way and they affect other sounds, they create a Venn diagram, if you like, of sound. And that's what vocals do. So if you have vocals that are being treated with autotune, you know it because it sounds like everything is zzz, and it comes at you with slices of digital information. Whereas if you have something and it hasn't been affected and it's a little bit out of tune, that's when it fills the whole room with sound. It's a wave, and the waves are creating waves. That can only be done with oscillation. Oscillation is the natural sound of a voice working with another voice, which makes this beautiful rainbow sound. I don't think most people know. I don't think as many people even care. Especially young bands now. I work with producers who work with a lot of new bands, and they don't care. They're just like, no, have it go through I want the computer to tell me that's in tune, not my ears and not my heart. I want the computer to tell me. And that seems to be the sound of a lot of rock music these days. It is technically brilliant. And if that floats your boat, then great. That's a good use of autotune as far as I'm concerned. But for me, who's grown up with music since I was, very early on. I must be about 3 or 4 when I first went, oh my God, what's that? It's a radio. I grew up listening to my heart. I grew up with the music, an actual effect on my central nervous system. And you don't get that with computer tomfoolery. It removes that, if anything. So yeah, I think it's got a good place in the world if the singer is not very good, or they just want to sound like modern whatever, modern rock. Not even in pop. Because I hear pop now, and that's not even auto-tuned. There's effects on the vocals to make it sound like a certain kind of demographic's going to get into it, but the voice is still, not hitting every note, and that's what makes me like it. I like when the singer, who can obviously sing and obviously write a nice tune, doesn't hit the note right, or doesn't hit the note straight on, goes in a little bit sharp or a bit flat. I like that. But I guess it's a personal taste thing. So yeah, if you like everything hitting you like pins of sound, then yeah, auto-tune will get that sound. As far as live gigs and stuff, a lot of people use backing tracks. I'm a Luddite. I'm a fucking old wanker. I remember the days where I just thought, that's ridiculous. You can't have backing tapes on fucking stage. And now I get it. If you're in a band and you've got this huge, massive, expansive fucking bludgeoning sound, you can't do that on stage with two guitars. So you've got two choices. You can either strip it back and be a band on stage, or you can use backing tracks. Only way you're going to get that sound of an album. And if that's your thing, be like, who do I love? Prodigy. If the Prodigy didn't have any backing tracks, they sound fucking awful. But that beautiful big thing that hits you when the Prodigy go into fucking fifth gear is all backing tracks. It's fine. It's time and a place. So yeah, so all I can say about that one is time and a place. And also I've been reminded before I leave you is the band album of the week thing, which I've been forgetting to do, and someone pulled me up on it and said, you've been forgetting to do them, haven't you? And I'm like, yeah. Well, it's been a fucking crazy few weeks, mind. That week in the studio where we did the podcast in 2 or 3 bits, fucking hell, that was as weird as it gets. And if we can get through this, then everything's fucking happy days. But anyway, my band stroke album of the week, and this has been a good, strong few weeks of music. I've been listening to a lot of really good music, but the one that is fucking blown me away, as recommended by my little boy Taylor, is this one by a band called Magdalena Bay. And Magdalena Bay, it's called, fuck is it called? I can't even. Magdalena Bay, one of them, Imaginal Disc, I think it's called, Imaginal Disc. Magdalena Bay are one of those bands that decide they're going to not use A, B, C, and D. They use their own little squiggly designs, making things that's a little bit harder or more rewarding when you get it right. But this album, I was going through a few really great recommendations. So when Taylor recommended this, I was just like, I'll give it a listen, out of courtesy, and I put it on when I was doing the dinner, and it started out as a, cool, kind of laid back, dancey thing. I can dig this. And then it decided it was going to be a little bit more obstinate and throw in a couple of curveballs. And that's when it started to change into this album that has got no fear. It doesn't give a fuck what you want it to do or what you expect it to do. It's going to go everywhere. There's a song called Watching TV that you should listen to it. And what it is, they're doing these cut-ups, a bit like Fatboy Slim used to do when he used to just chop up rhythms and put them on a 303 and sample things in rhythm. Except they're doing it with digital tricks of things. So like things, digital manipulation, skipping, and corruption, data corruption. That sounds awful if it's not planned. With a band who are so fearless, using it for entertainment, I can't believe everyone's not doing this. It is the most fun thing to listen to in the world. It's almost like they don't give a shit, and they're really good at not giving a shit. Listen to the song Watching TV, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about this band, but not everything that you will find out about this band, because they go everywhere. They don't give a fuck. And I think the same band, there's only 2 of them, and they do gatefolds properly as well, which is extra points as far as I'm concerned. Nice big gatefold artwork that looks great and actually looks like the album sounds. It's an absolute head fuck. It's brilliant. It's really well done. Great voices, great writers, great songwriters, really good studio trickery. And it sounds like they're excited by the lack of limitations that they've given themselves. But yeah, Magdalena Bay, the name of the album, Imaginal Disc. That is not a very good title for an album. But Imaginal Disc, and it's a fucking double album. Imaginal Discs. Thanks. Yeah, Magdalena Bay, just absolute superb nuts. Absolute nuts. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. The black sands of time have gone down super quick, so I guess that it was it sped by, as they say in the enjoying things world. But I have enjoyed this. I really do enjoy these. We love when you tell us that you enjoy them, because sometimes you're just like, should we keep doing this? Does anyone give a shit? Hello, is anyone out there? So when you do tell us that you are indeed out there and enjoying it, it means everything. We're the kind of people that probably, it wouldn't stop us doing it anyway. But it is nice to know that people are enjoying it. So thank you. Have a fantastic weekend. Hope the sun is shining wherever you are. And be good to each other. Be good to yourself, more importantly. Peace. Bye.